computer. Go ahead and get the audio going. Boom.
Just realizing how dusty my office is. I'm like lifting things up to do show and tell. And I'm like, that's dusty. Oh, look at this. Don't mind me.
All right.
Better.
More.
I feel like we're playing like that's before my time, but like Romper Room.
Mike, so we consider Mike the old man of the group anyway.
Okay.
He hates.
You know what Romper Room is, but
yeah, he hates digital media. He's like, I'd rather have VHS tapes. I'd rather have records and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down.
Then you're gonna appreciate this. This is my first album, dude. Like people don't even know how to play these. No, they do actually.
Well, you know what? Though the record craze is starting to come back up now.
Yeah,
like, my wife just bought a record player. Like she has all of Taylor Swift's albums, but now she wants to get them all on vinyl. And I'm like, the last one we got, we couldn't even play because the last time I saw a record player was when my dad was using one, like years ago. All right, so there's that. Mike, here's all the notes right here. Everything we need to know for that. So there's that.
If you guys are having beer, if it was a little later here, I'd be having a glass of wine, so we'd be ready.
Yeah, we do a beer of the week, and actually it kind of helps out because on social media, I tag a lot of the beers of the week throughout the week, and we get share backs. So that kind of helps out with, the social media part of it. And then we do a shot of the month too, which actually we have a new one this month, which we're going to be doing for January, because this will air January, after the 1st. So if you hear us reference New Year's a lot, that's why, because it's kind of a taping. So here, let's get this rock and roll. Next.
Five-second rule.
5-second rule. And then I got this new game called Incoherent for Christmas. And basically you hold it up and they have to try to guess what it is. Hey, Tane, real quick.
Honey.
Can you make this out okay if I hold that up? Can you see that it's a card? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. We'll need that for the game part later. So.
Hold on 1 second. I know you. Here. Hey, Chabello, I'm in the middle of a Zoom call, but yes, on Raina and Talisman for tomorrow, if that works. Oh, yeah, that's right. If it does rain, then forget it. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Bye-bye. That's actually a horse-related thing.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit go live on this, and then we're going to go ahead and rock and roll.
Go for it.
All right. So preparing on Facebook Live. For those of you that are already seeing it on the preview, we will be live in a few seconds. All right. Let me make sure. Where's my phone? Because I always like to make sure it's live on this, just to make sure that it's not on private, which I think I may have.
It looks like you did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
The way it is with Zoom is if you don't set it directly for public, it will go right to. I'm trying to default it to public. Then that way.
I can look on my phone to see if it's. Oh, we're airing and we don't even know.
Well, no, I stopped it. That's what it was. I pulled it up on my phone. I'm like, well, it's not here quite yet. So let me redo it. So we're still working out a lot of the Zoom kinks. So live with.
Mm-hmm. Well, an Xbox controller seems a little weird.
That is not Xbox controller. It is a Switch controller.
Okay. Well,
all right,
now
there
it
we
makes
go.
sense.
Public. Go live.
I'm sorry.
Now that makes more sense. All right. So boom.
Is it on?
Controller?
Did I accidentally turn it on? Oops.
I hope not. All right, cool. So we have this pulled up here.
Hey, guess what?
What's that?
I see a bit of us.
All right, cool. So we're good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. My name's Ray. Of course, I'm here again with the trifecta. For some reason, the last couple of weeks, the three of us going to be together, and there's been a lot of co-hosts. So old man Mike managed to crawl himself out of his hiding spot to come back and join us tonight. And, of course, we're here with Matt. Matt isn't on the camera tonight. And real quick, what I want to do is everybody knows I'm deeply associated with the wrestling community. Recently, we just found out yesterday that Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper from WWE, passed away from a non-COVID lung issue So that's been rocking the wrestling world for the last day or so. So our condolences to Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper from WWE and AEW, and his family, hearing the tragic passing of that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it. We are here with our guest this week, Tane McClure. How you doing, Tommy?
I am doing really great. Thank you for having me on. It's nice to see you in person.
And of course, we're live.
Isn't it sort of in person these days? I mean, this is COVID.
As close as you can get.
Yeah, it's about as close as you can get. And of course, we're here on Facebook Live. And everybody listening at home, this is for everybody listening at home. If you want to interact with our guests live, make sure you tune in a week early. Then that way you can interact live on Facebook Live. Now, Tani, you are a jack of all trades. You do a little bit of everything.
A Jill of all trades.
Oh, yes.
Okay. It's so funny you said that. I'm a jack. I'm a Jill of all trades. I probably do way too many things, to be honest. But hey, at least life isn't boring for me,
Oh, yeah. And, we were talking a little bit about it before we went live. And it's like when you have that many skills now, you're an actress, you're a singer, you're a producer, you're a director, you're a model, you're an editor, you raise and train horses. It's insane, all the stuff that you do. How do you manage the balance all that out? Day by day, it must be something different. You're always busy, and I try to like to be the same way.
Well, that's a really good question. To be totally honest, about a year ago, it was really difficult. Although I did produce a couple small projects this year, I did a lovely short film called Hungry Dog that a lot of people saw that I shared on Facebook. But before that, I was the main editor for a local TV show called The Carlos and Lisa Show. So during the day, I would horse train. So it would be like my day job is I'm a horse trainer, but then I run home to my home studio or to their studio, and I would edit their shows. And there was 5 shows a week. So I was so busy that it was insane. And I like it. I enjoy it. But my favorite is when I can focus in on one thing a little bit more at a time. So because of COVID,
yeah.
Ironically, mostly that I've been doing this whole year is honestly horse training, which I really enjoyed. But I have been developing some projects, and I wrote some scripts. I'm working with a producer-director friend of mine, Richard Gabay, on a couple different projects that we're developing. But that will be next year. But all this year, I got to just be a horse trainer, and it was nice. I would say the only part that wasn't so nice was when we didn't know what COVID was all about, and we were nobody was allowed to go anywhere. But I was actually considered an essential worker, believe it or not, because I was responsible for I think 6 to 9 horses, depending on what was going on. And I had to make sure that their well-being was cared for. And oddly enough, as much as I love horse training, it was almost a little bit scary because none of my clients could come and blah, 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 blah. I just had a couple of us workers, and it was lonely. But we've figured it all out, and it's a little bit better. But so to answer your question, is that if I can focus on one thing or another, it's nice because then I can horse train. We go to horse shows. A couple years back, I went to the championships. So it was really fun. And then actually a year and a half ago, I produced a short film called Rockstar that really did well on the short film on the festival circuit. We won tons of awards, and that was really nice. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And so I don't know, I managed to make it work. I would probably say the thing is that I don't overwork any individual part of the things that I do. Like, I'm not going to train 15 to 20 horses. That's just too much, and I wouldn't be able to give people my best. And I'm not going to produce 15 to 20 films every year, but maybe 2.
And of course, your dad was an actor himself, and is that how you got your start in the industry of acting? Was through your dad being the actor?
Yes, and we talked about it before we went on Facebook Live and Zoom, and I get to play show and tell with you. Okay, here you go. You ready? All right, this is my dad. Can you see that pretty well?
Oh yeah, we can see it
Very
perfect.
clear.
Okay, great. Okay, so there's my dad there, and there's me. as you can see, I'm a perfectly natural blonde. No, but in this picture, my hair is kind of like an auburn color. That was actually more my natural color. And as I got older, it just kind of started growing blonde. I just don't know how that happened. But this was an episode of the Virginian called Small Parade. So I got to play. That was my first little project I did, and I feel more playing Show It Down. Oh my God. Okay, and it's dusty. But here's some cute pictures. I don't know if you can see if it's too much glary. Okay, I admit it. I have a ring light. Once an actress, once a model, always. You gotta look really good. Go get the powder. But yeah, that's my dad. And
I'm very familiar with those ring lights. My wife is a cosmetologist and also does microblading, so she has those lights all over the place.
We have to look our best. But some of you also might remember my dad. He did a lot of these movies, these action movies. This is Patrick Wayne. Can you see Patrick Wayne here? And my father when he was older. And The People That Time Forgot, but he also did Land That Time Forgot, a lot of those dinosaur movies, actually. And, okay, to the people that may be watching or will watch it when it airs that are fans of those type of movies, okay, I gotta say this. Back in the day, Land That Time Forgot and all those movies, see one up there? No. Those dinosaurs look pretty good, but now they look pretty dumb. I mean, it's like, I thought they were pretty good, especially when I was a kid.
And then you go back and you look at it now, you look at movies like Jurassic Park and you're like, oh my God.
Right? I mean, it's just incredible what movies they can do in movies these days. Just
even special effects from the 80s era, which is relatively modern, still just don't hold up very well in a lot of cases anymore. It's incredible how much CGI has advanced and special effects in general.
Yeah. So, that's that part of that story.
Now one of the main things that we know is that you were in both Legally Blonde movies, Legally Blonde 1, Legally Blonde 2. You played Reese Witherspoon's mother in the movie. How was that? Because those movies, my wife loves those movies. I love the movies. How was working alongside Reese Witherspoon and doing the Legally Blonde stuff? It
was terrific. I mean, she's a really nice person. I enjoyed working with her. She's very, very funny, but I could tell you that one thing about her, she's very professional. She takes what she does very, very seriously, and that's good. One thing I do remember, we were working on a scene by the pool, and she was quite funny. I don't know if you guys remember, there's a scene by the pool, and I go, honey, you were first runner up in Miss Hawaiian Tropics contest. Why are you going to throw that all away? But anyway, so she reacts, she does something is hysterical. And the director calls cut, and she's like, was that funny? I mean, was that seriously funny? Maybe we should do one more take. And she was just, boom, right to like this real, like, is that funny? I don't know if it was funny. And I'm like, wow. No, she's really, really great, super talented, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So I tell you a funny story though. Originally, my part was much bigger. Not a lot bigger, but it was bigger because the film was a little bit more risque originally. It was quite a bit, the original script was quite a bit more like American Pie, actually.
Okay.
And then when they started cutting the film together, they realized it really was kind of a young woman's film, and it didn't necessarily need to be quite so risque. So they kept it a little bit on the cleaner side. And it's really turned out good. I thought it was cute. So I'm not in the most recent one. I wish I was.
And I know that her Instagram also is hilarious because I follow her on Instagram, and everything she posts on Instagram is just hilarious within itself. And we talked about you being the Jill of all trades. You're also a singer. Mm-hmm. And when you were singing, you went under Tane Cain, and you have
Tane Cain.
I'm sorry, Tane Cain. I know
everybody makes that. Yeah.
So Tane Cain, and you're coming out with a new album of your unreleased music.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first I'll just kind of backtrack. So my first record came out when I was 21, and I had just married. I was a singer, and I met Jonathan Cain at a place, well, through friends actually, but he came down to watch me sing in a place called Poppy Star. So we, it was a good match. We got together, we ended up falling in love, and we got married. But right after we got married, he got an offer to join Journey, and I had gotten 2 record deal offers, one from CBS and one from RCA. CBS Records was the same record company as Journey, and I was scared that I would be kind of overshadowed by the whole Journey and Jonathan Cain connection. So I went with RCA Records. And originally, I really wanted to be just known as Tane McClure, just to keep my maiden name, blah, blah, blah. But he really wanted me to be Tane Cain. So that's how the Tane Cain, to make a whole lot of sense to clear that up, came to play. And some people that do follow my music, I also sang songs for the Terminator soundtrack. And the name of that band was called Triangles. We ended up changing the name of my first name. This is just me being, I guess, crazy. I changed it to Tane, Tahnee, so that people would pronounce my name properly. So it was Tane Cain and Triangles. And this is getting to, finally, answering your question. So we recorded a whole bunch of songs after my first album. So now we're on to a possible second album. RCA ended up not keeping me under contract. So I was recording a whole bunch of songs at that time with Jonathan Cain and also other songwriters. A couple of the songs ended up being in the Terminator soundtrack. There's also a whole bunch of other songs that were never released. So we're planning on releasing like a new album that includes all those songs, and hopefully that are not released. It's on SoundCloud right now. I sent you a link.
Yeah. I listened to some of it earlier. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, thank you. And then there's also some, hopefully, I'm hoping for 1 or 2 songs that are absolutely brand new. So I got to kind of wind up those old pipes of mine again.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is, for those of you watching, make sure you listen to the audio version next week, because I am going to throw some of those songs, roll those songs right into the podcast so you guys can hear them as well. And also, if Tane's cool, we will play them at various times throughout various episodes in the future. And now with Terminator, did they come to you guys for a song exclusively for Terminator, or did they choose a song? Did they choose a song that you guys had for Terminator? Because I know a lot of times for movies, they'll have you come and do a song exclusively for the movie only.
No. Well, what happened is my manager at the time, his name is Bud Carr, who actually, he does a lot of music coordinating for big movies. He got the job to music coordinate for the Terminator. Oh boy, this is a story. So I was, kind of thinking I was a hot, new singer. Really. It's going to be embarrassing. I can't believe I'm going to tell you this story, but I'm going to. So I go in and I meet this guy, James Cameron. Like, okay, whatever.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. I never heard of him. Yeah.
This guy. And I go to see this screening of this movie, and it's very raw. The Terminator character, the machine. Yeah. It's very. It's not complete. It looks, and there's no music, of course. There's no sound effect. I'm looking at the very raw version of it. And who was in the theater with me? Linda Ronstadt, Linda Hamilton, and my manager, Bud Carr, and I think one of our band members, and James Cameron. So we're watching this early screening that I got the privilege to go to, but I was thinking, whatever. It looks so raw and unscary, and the machine, the mechanics of it were so embarrassingly, true story, I thought it was the worst movie I'd ever seen. I remember going out of the theater going, now you guys know, I was young, right? I mean, like, okay, I gotta have a little bit of excuse. So we're, get out of the theater, and I'm like, oh God, I'm thinking my music's gonna be in that movie.
Little did you know.
Oh my Lordy, Torty. Okay, so there was a song that I was writing called "You Got Me Burning in the Third Degree," and then the bass player Ricky Phillips had a couple songs, "You Can't Do That," and we have 3 songs in the Terminator, right, that our band wrote. So you know, I'm like, okay, you got me burning. That's a good song. We'll give that to them. And I'm licensing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting nothing of it, right? So now, months later, many months, I can't remember, we are going now to the full-on red carpet event. We are going to the big, you know, screening of the Terminator, the big release. And I go in there and I'm in shock. True story. It was, to me, at that time, the Terminator was so stunning. Okay, I'm not just counting my music, but the actual soundtrack was incredible. The sound effects, the visuals, I was so floored. And then I was like, okay, that's James Cameron. Okay, I'm really an idiot. But it just goes to show, it just goes to show that you don't know how great something can be when it's at its rawest form. And I can tell you, honestly, with that really embarrassing story that I just shared with you, that I thought James Cameron was nobody and the Terminator was nothing, that I realized later that, you know, all of us, we have goals, we have dreams, we have visions of things that we want to create, and not to limit ourselves, to be limitless. Yeah. Because he made something that I thought was kind of disjointed incredible. So I don't know. That's my Terminator.
In the music industry, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? The parallels there with, like you mentioned, the rawness. You know, you can just be playing an acoustic instrument in a garage.
Exactly.
In your setting with the right producers, and the next thing you know, you got something magical happening.
It's so true. And now, well, many years later, not that many, but many years later, you know, now I've taught myself to be an editor. And also, of course, I've learned through working through different media production, with different media productions, to be a good director and producer. And literally, I've been in that, well, never in that same boat, because I have never had a big film like James Cameron has, but I've had films that I've been working on that I'm like, oh, God, it's really not working. And you just, you know, you just keep working at it. Next thing you know, you're like, wow. Like Rockstar was a really good example of that movie that I produced. And I produced Trance as well. You can see it all the way back there. But it turned out really well in the end, especially Rockstar. It really was great. So, I think Harry was wondering if I had that much to talk about. Now I'm just like talking to you. But anytime, shut up.
And one of our viewers, Tom Nutty, he said, always got to chase that dream, even if no one else sees it at first. And that's very true. You know, I grew up always wanting to be a professional wrestler. I did it for 21 years. And just like what you said, there's been times where I've showed up to wrestling shows and I'd be like, oh, I'm not sure about this venue. I'm not sure about this guy that I'm working my match with. And then the next thing you know, once it all comes together, crowd gets into it, you do your thing, and then you watch the match back later on and you're like, oh man, that was really good. You know, it all came together. So, you know, and that's with anything. Yeah. So with your acting, how was it going from acting to kind of going behind the camera, that transition of directing, producing, all that? What was it a big change in pace for you, or was it something that you just kind of filtered yourself into?
And now that you've done both, which end do you prefer to be on?
That's good questions. Very good questions. Well, rolling back to when my father was actually still alive, he passed away, unfortunately, in 1995. Before that, he had started a production company because he wanted to produce and direct. He started a production company called Tane Productions. Sweet, he named it after me. And he was trying to get a few films off the ground. And I saw that what he wanted to do was steer his career in the direction that he wanted to go to. It's sort of like a kind of a control thing, but in a good way, a creative control, right? So after my dad passed away, I was starting to develop some films of my own and trying to get some things going. And the other key point is, as an actress, for me, honestly, I got kind of pigeonholed, which, you know, hey, I'm all for it. You know, it's all great, but kind of only the sexy girl roles, right? And when I was acting a lot, Sharon Stone was like in Basic Instinct, and, you know, my God, it was more risque, more sexy that you can get was like the look. And a lot of people at the time were saying, my God, you know, you look a lot like Kim Basinger, or you look like Shannon Tweed, or you look like this. And Andrew Stevens, if you're familiar with him as a producer, director, actor, he was looking for the next Shannon Tweed. Okay. And I thought, okay, I can be that. I can do that. And yeah, so I was doing kind of that, Red Shoe Diaries, Basic Instinct kind of films. And I felt somewhat empowered on some of the really good films. A Woman Scorned To, which was produced by Andrew Stevens and directed by Rod McDonald. I hope I said that right. I'll be shoot myself. So I enjoyed those movies. They were scary. I got to really, sink my teeth into some good acting. But to be totally honest with you, as the town kind of progressed and everything had to be, Basic Instinct was nothing. That's old news. I mean, that's nothing, right? And Red Shoe Diaries, that's nothing. So everything had to be sexier, but not in a good way for me, anyways, in my career. So it kind of got, in my mind, worse. Other than things like I played in Legally Blonde, I got a part in Go, things like that. And I was also a series regular on Sherman Oaks. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Okay, yeah.
But I was a regular. That was on
I forgot all about Go also. When I saw Go, when I was looking through something, I was like, oh man, I forgot all about Go.
Yes. So, there was some, good projects that I was doing, or bigger, I should say, films, but I was getting kind of pigeonholed in these films that were lower and lower and lower budget. And I, although I did do some action movies that I really enjoyed because I do martial arts and I worked with Don the Dragon Wilson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And it was fun learning that. I enjoyed that a lot. But again, going back to, as a woman, having less and less control or power. I remember going to the AFM and I was promoting a bunch of films that I had done for other producers. Okay. And I said to one of my producer friends, I said, I think I want to produce and direct. True story. He looked at me and he goes, stick to acting.
What?
And that lit the fire, got all burned up.
All right. Hold on. No, and looking back, I don't think he really was trying to be mean. It's just the way that the town kind of rolls, And I thought, okay, that's it. I am going to start really learning how to be a good director, good producer. But growing up with my father and always being on a film set and then doing a lot of movies and working with some really good, I don't want to say low budget directors, but my favorites, Richard Gabby. We did a film called Hot Under the Collar, a really fun comedy, and he's still a really good friend of mine today. Fred Olin Ray, really terrific. He directed the movie with Don the Dragon Wilson. And also Jim Wynorski, I've worked with him a bunch too. So there's friends that I have in the industry, right? That I really like these people and they've been good to me. But I wanted to do what they were doing. So I started producing my own things, started writing my own things, and going back to what we were kind of talking about earlier, it's scary to change careers and to try something that people are assuming you're not going to be good at. It's scary. And you have to kind of take a chance to fail. Yeah. And I can tell you honestly, I produce things I'm like, and other things that I really like. You can actually YouTube some of the things they're actually on my website, mcclurefilms.com. But I directed a really lovely educational film about autism called
I did see that.
Inside Autism. It's an educational drama, and it was made for a company called Leaf Wing for Professionals. And what they do is they educate the educators how to handle children with autism. Yeah. So I really, really enjoyed it a lot. And if you get a chance to watch it, again, I think it's released everywhere. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. The young actor, God, I can't think of his name right now. It's terrible. But he did not have autism, but he had friends that did. He did a really good job. Anyways, so you have to step out there and give it a go. And, I'm enjoying that. Like I said, I'm directing a couple different projects I plan to in the next couple of years. So I'm hoping that all works out for me. So Richard Gabby, let's get it together. He's in our collaborating.
And speaking of your film studio, we see a couple of other things I put down was the one that you did with where is it? As we know, you had the one that was Just Call Me Hef, which was the Hugh Hefner story.
Yes.
That was on there, which is a fun one.
Yes.
I was going to ask what that award was for. I saw it back there, and I was going to be like, what is the star award that's back there?
All right. Well, this is an award that I won with Carlos Amesqua, Shelley and Chouette, John B. Patton, and me. This was for Love Betty White.
Yep, Love Betty White.
So what we had done, we had produced, Carlos Amesco really gets, well, he's a wonderful news anchor, producer, everything like that. He was on the Carlos and Lisa show too. So it was like a half-hour Fox News special documentary about Betty White. And she was wonderful to work with, by the way.
Oh yeah, Betty White, she's amazing. She's definitely, I believe Betty White is immortal. Like, that lady, and she's also probably one of the biggest badasses.
She is so awesome. Yeah. I remember when we were setting up the interview, because this interview, and then we do backstories on her. You could see that also on my website, McClureFilms.com. I literally was trying to walk her over to where she was going to sit down, and I was choking up inside. Because, of course, I had researched her with, everybody else that was working on the team. And the things that she's done and how long she's been in this business. And it's just, anyways, it was wonderful. Also, Hugh Hefner, we did Hugh Hefner's story. And that was really good, too. That was, I really enjoyed that as well. And if you get the chance to check it out, it's all my editing, too. So.
Coming back to the music industry a little bit. A lot of times in movies about music, you'll see an artist manager be like a larger-than-life kind of loud personality. Even somebody relatable, somebody stands out, even like with Elvis, Colonel Tom Parker.
Yes.
You encountered any managers that are that way?
Well, yes and no. My favorite manager was Bud Carr. He just really kind of got me. Like, he didn't get mad at me the fact that I didn't like the Terminator, but. No, a lot of music managers, I would say, to be honest, they can be boisterous and, charismatic. And I think that's good. I mean, that's what they have to do to get the job done. I mean, they're literally, they're fighting for you. They're out there trying to get you what you need. If you're an actress, they're trying to get you the part. If you're a singer, they're trying to get you that gig. I work with some really good people. I feel honestly really blessed there. I really do.
And what we're going to do real quick, for those of you listening at home, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with our Beer of the Week, our Shot of the Month, and our Ode to Humanity segment. We will be right back with Tane McClure. For those of you watching live, that's just for us to cut for next week. We're going to go ahead and go right back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, this is Ray, Mike, and Matt. We're here with Tane McClure. And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to get into our Beer of the Week, which, Matt, do you want to say what the Beer of the Week is? Are you saying you need another one? All right. So I guess
drinking beer.
Matt just waving his hand.
I'm starting to drink and not beer. Pass me a beer.
You can't see him on camera here, but he's behind the screen here.
All right. So the Beer of the Week is Banana Bread Beer by Eagle Brewery. It's really good. I was actually surprised at this.
Yeah.
It actually does taste like beer bread.
Yeah.
Or banana bread. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Beer bread.
It tastes like banana beer bread.
It's weird because
it does taste like banana bread.
My wife, Jess, she's made banana bread numerous times, and it's amazing. And, I thought that this was going to be super sweet, but it's not. And I saw this last week, and I was like, you know what? I need to pick some of that up. So I went and I got it. It's from Eagle Brewery, so make sure everybody out there listening, check out Eagle Brewery and grab yourself some banana bread beer. It's an A+, 5.2 alcohol by volume, and grab yourself some banana bread beer. Now, what we're going to do, knowing the fact that this is the first episode of 2021, you know what that means, Matt. Mike doesn't have to worry about it because Mike doesn't drink no more. Dad doesn't drink anymore.
Good for you.
So what we're going to do is we have a brand new Shot of the Month. And I saw this, and I had to grab it. What this is called A-Team Vodka. And it's in a hand grenade bottle.
Anything that comes in a hand grenade, I'm a little hesitant.
Well, here's the thing, though. 2020 has been so bad with COVID, anything that could possibly, it was Murphy's Law of life with 2020. So pretty much what I did is I grabbed a hand grenade, and that way we can pop the top on this, throw it at 2020, and start for a brand new 2021. So Matt, there you go. I'm going to give you that. And then I'm going to take this, and we're going to give ourselves a try of this, which I thought this was a plastic bottle, but it was not. It was glass by the way it was shaped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm going to put some of this here. Pour that. Oh, man, that just by how solid this poured, I'm already terrified. Yeah, let's just hold it right over the laptop. That'll work wonders. Drunk guys and holding the shot glass over the laptop. That'll work out great. Tawny's probably like, these goddamn idiots.
A few weeks back, he had a giant bottle.
Yeah.
He dropped it.
Oh, yeah.
He cracked it open and dropped it right on the floor.
All right. Oh, wait.
I wish I could have it.
I just want to add that this smells like Windex.
It does smell like Windex. It's from France, so I don't. All right, so here we go. Oh, that's pretty smooth, though.
Yeah.
That's really smooth. I'm actually surprised how smooth that is.
Grenade vodka with banana beer chaser.
I wish I could say a little bit more about this. I couldn't even find any of their social media pages, but for those of you watching at home, A-Team Vodka. It's in a hand grenade. Just look for a hand grenade. They do sell one that's actually little Matt's face right now is priceless. They do, however, for a few $100 sell. It's an M16 filled up with vodka, and it comes with like an ammo box. And
Does it work
it's
like
the
Super
shotgun.
Soaker? Can you, like,
I
shoot it
don't know.
out of the gun?
I don't know, but I saw it. But I can't find anything for who distributes this. So if anybody knows that information, please pass it over because I would love to shout them out online. But this is our new shot of the month. So Matt, every episode for this month, I actually bought 2 of these because I wasn't sure if one was gonna make it through every episode. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into our segment called Ode to Humanity. And everybody at home knows what Tawny, have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
No.
No? Okay. So I'll run it down for you just a little bit. It's basically it's a little bit of a rough game. So pretty much we have a black, and I picked some of the more, relaxed cards. So pretty much what I'll do is I'll read off the black card, and then you have 6 options on what you think best answers the sentence from all the other cards. So the black card is Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and blank. Sorry. P.F. Chang himself. Stalin, poor people, spending lots of money, Stephen Hawking talking dirty, or tangled slinkies.
P.F. Chang himself.
All right. So Tawny chooses Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and P.F. Chang himself. And if I could choose one, I think actually I thought it was quite funny. Her eating her curds and poor people. And then what we're going to do also is and this is actually Mike's first time playing this too, because we introduced this 3 weeks ago, and Tommy Simbazo has been great with it. It's called 5-second rule. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, Tawny, name 3 of a certain thing, and we're going to give you 5 seconds and see if you can name all 3 in 5 seconds. If not, it goes to Matt, then it goes to Mike, then it comes to me.
Okay.
But if you say 2 things and you don't get it, we can't say those again. So that's what makes it complicated.
I'm getting ready.
So I'll go ahead and turn this over when we're ready. And what I want you to do is I want you to name 3 professional hockey teams.
Oh, that's terrible. I don't know why.
And time. All right. So it's going to go to Matt. Matt, 3 professional hockey teams.
All right. The Capitals, the Flyers, and the Penguins.
There you go. All right. Matt got it. Capitals, Flyers, Penguins. Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
I'm terrible at this game. I'm going to go hide now.
Red Wings, I can do it too.
I was sitting there. I don't know hockey. I was like, please don't let it get to me. I don't know anything. And then one more game, and then we'll get right back into everything. This is a game. I actually got this for Christmas, and it's called Incoherent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a card, and it's going to be written as if you're saying it intoxicated. So
right. I know this game.
So I'm going to hold the card up, and
I know this
if
game
you need
too.
a hint, just let me know you need a hint, because there's 2 hints on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it up, and you let me know what you think that is.
K. Gustins. I'm gonna do it like I'm drunk. Hold on. K. Gustins. K. Gustins. K. Gustins. K. Gustins. K. Gustins.
I didn't know that.
Kega stands. Kega stands.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Tane McClure with the first annual Incoherent card. She got the first one correct. And that's going to be, and on the back, the hint said tap it, and then doing a handstand while guzzling alcohol directly from the tap. So that was the hint. So that is this week's edition of Ode to Humanity. Tane, thank you for being a sport with that. Now, with the horse stuff.
We go from gang stats to the
all over the place now.
Yeah.
Takes
That's
he
how
has
we
a
go.
little name vodka, and then it's just
we have this.
It's
Yeah,
over
once
I know. We go from talking about entertainment from this or this and that.
try to keep up.
What? That's the way it works. It's the Happy Hour podcast. This is what happens when we sit around for happy hour.
So funny.
When you started racing and training horses, did you start doing that young, or is that something that you kind of got into later? Did you always grow up with horses?
Well, yeah, I definitely always grew up with horses because of my dad. I don't have a picture of him riding a horse or anything like that. On my show and tell that I was. This is from my album. Anyway,
Is that one of your horses?
At the time, that was one of my horses. No, my father, my father was on the Virginian, if people weren't watching earlier. He played Trampus on the Virginian series. And he was a real honest to goodness cowboy. He wasn't just acting. He was actually buckaroo, as he used to say. He used to do team roping contests and everything. So I grew up on horses. I've had horses, my whole life around me, blah, blah, blah. So it's sort of like I'm an actress, I'm a yoga instructor, but I'm a horse trainer. So I don't know.
Now,
I love it though.
On that one too, I have a question. When I was in elementary and middle school, a close friend of mine owned a few horses himself.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was the calmest, sweetest thing you'd ever meet. The other one, however, would let you climb on a bareback and instantly try to buck you off. It was just the most unruly, craziest horse ever. It was like a game we play. I dare you to ride that horse kind of thing. It's like, go ahead and try it. So with the training, do you ever have any ones that are just outright stubborn and just refuse to cooperate?
Yeah, I've had that a few times. Honestly, I was just talking to one of my clients this week, and I was saying, I've come to the realization that I'm kind of a horse, I want to say communicator, but it's not like I'm psychic or anything like that. It's not that. It's that I really try to communicate.
Like the dog whisperer?
Yeah, the horse whisperer. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be,
Yeah.
I really like to connect with them emotionally. I really do. But they're kind of like kids too, in the sense that they can be bratty and you have to kind of keep them in line. You can't let them, do things that they shouldn't. You have to be like their human parent, but you do have to show them love, and they have to know that they're doing good for you. I see horses really improve and really do well in whatever discipline that they're doing. Disciplines meaning like dressage, jumping.
So they respond well to praise.
They really do, and the connection. This is my personal opinion, the way I like to train. I like to ride a horse that's happy to come out of his paddock, his corral, his stall, wherever. He's happy to come work with me. My horses are always like, hey, my turn. and I want that, and they enjoy doing what they're doing, because sometimes it's difficult. But, I have had a couple times where I've had horses were really dangerous, and it's kind of heartbreaking because it's almost like a human that's had something really terrible that's happened to them when they were young, and they're scarred, and it's very hard to change that. In those cases, then I have to go call my cowboy friends like Steve Stevens Jr. if you're watching.
I kind of feel like that horses are kind of like bigger versions of dogs. Like, at least anything I've ever seen with horses, I feel like that the way they think, the way they act, they emotionally, they're kind of like a big version of a dog. Yes,
except for one giant difference. Dogs are predators, whereas horses are prey. So dogs are in packs and horses are in herds. A prey animal, his first instinct beyond anything else is to run. which can get really dangerous, right? So our job as horse trainers is to make a horse feel super confident with you, to the point that you are their alpha mare or alpha stallion, whatever, in their life. And that's a good thing. They go like, you know, they start to feel scared. If you have this wonderful confidence and trust relationship that you develop with that horse, the horse will literally look to you like, oh, is this something I'm supposed to be scared of? And hopefully you have that connection and you'll have a nice ride and you won't be on the ground.
It makes sense. A human being fearful, and what I mean by that is whenever I'm around a horse in close proximity that I'm not familiar with, I always have that fear of like, is it going to kick me? Am I going to get kicked? You know, is it?
Well, a lot of that has to do with just not being familiar with horse behavior, right? They have a specific behavior and a specific way of communicating, just like dogs have a specific way of communicating. You ever notice, and it's true with most dogs, that when you don't know them, you don't like want to walk right up to them, scare them in the eye and reach out, because they'll be like, "Blah!" And they'll maybe take that as like aggression. Horses have their own set of rules that have to do with herd behavior. There's my dog.
You're like, wait, you're talking about dogs? Wait a minute. And also, and I don't know how familiar you are with Maryland, but we have an island here called Assateague Island. And we have the Assateague pony. They've been there forever. They live on Assateague Island. I don't exactly remember how they got there, but I know they've been there. Yeah, they migrated there, and they've been there for about 50 years. You know, they've had offspring, and they're always there. And they'll sit there, and you'll park your cars. They'll be walking through where the cars are. They'll take food. They'll do this. They'll do that. And, you know, every so often you'll get someone that takes their tail, and they'll kind of swat the pony away. The next thing you know, they're being kicked into the side of their car.
They're not really domesticated in any way. Yeah, they're pretty wild.
They're 100% wild.
I actually have a pretty wild story that I am not going to share because it's definitely R-rated.
Well, you know, they do have their behaviors. Horses, they have sort of a territory, especially the stallions. And they will push into you. So that's what I meant by, you can't be this like docile thing either. So it's like, you have to, this is my space.
Have to stand your ground.
Yeah,
you do, but you have to do it the right way. You do have to be careful. You know, I've seen video of people going up to wild Mustangs or whatever and thinking that they can reach out and touch, and the horse will give them a nice long stare and then, you know, swivel back and give them a back kick, you know? So you have to be careful. Something you don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever happen to be in the Maryland area, definitely go to Assateague Island. There's a beautiful beach there. Wild ponies are there. Beautiful, beautiful animals up there.
Respect them. I respect them.
Oh yeah. Every time we've been up there, we've taken stuff to feed them with. I don't feed them by hand. We'll take like apples, but we'll lay them on the ground.
That's smart.
Yeah, I don't need a horse biting me because, I don't even.
You don't know. Also, it could be a mare that's just fine and it's no big deal. She's like, get curious and come right up to you. Or that you could have a mare that's in foal and you got a little too close, just like any other animal. Or the stallion that's like.
And also, we haven't really talked much about this. You're modeling. You did modeling also.
Yes, I originally did quite a bit of modeling. Was the Judith Fontaine agency and the Grimet agency. You probably don't even know who they are, but I was Ford agency for a little while. I enjoyed that up in Northern California for a while. Nobody's gonna remember this, but I'm gonna share it. I was what they called the Macy's girl. So I did all the Macy's commercials and things like that in Northern California, and that was fun. I was a Redken girl for a while, and some of you might remember that hair product. At least a girl's well. So no, I enjoyed that as well. But you know, I think there's something weird about me. I'm always trying to try something different. I don't know if it's just I'm a glutton for punishment or what.
Now, when you were doing the modeling, was there any place did you do photo shoots with your modeling? Was there any place that you went to that blew your mind when you were doing a photo shoot? Like, is there any like location they took you to do modeling where you were just kind of like, oh man, this is really cool?
Yes. Dang it. It was Northern California. Oh shoot. I can't think of the name of the clothing line, but I was doing, I I knew you were going to ask me that question. I would have prepared my show and tell. A picture of it somewhere. But I got to do a photo shoot with a tiger and a elephant. And
oh, wow. That's cool.
yeah, so that was cool. And it was up, I want to say it was in an animal reserve, and it was for a clothing line, Chiori, but similar to kind of like, you know, khakis and things like that. So it wasn't really, I mean, as a singer, I've gone to more interesting places than I did as a model. As a singer, you know, I traveled all around the world. I went to Japan. I don't know if you and I were talking, I mentioned Linda Ronstadt instead of Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, yeah.
So who knows who Linda Ronstadt is?
Old man does.
Thank you. Okay, I got one for you then. I opened for Linda Ronstadt in Germany.
In Germany.
Oh,
Really
that's cool. That's cool. We have some viewers that tune in live on Facebook from Germany. We had Wes Scantlin on from Puddle of Mud, and we had 3 people reach out to us going, when are you going live on Facebook? Mind you, in Germany right now, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's dedication. That's what makes me happy about doing stuff like this is people from all over the world. Yet again, shout out to the UK, who the numbers have been flooding in like crazy from people from the UK. And the modeling question, back to the music thing, is there any location or any show, any place you performed while you were a musician that you were like, oh man, wow, like you just sat there and you saw the crowd and you were just like, is this real life?
Yeah, I don't even know if they call it the Cow Palace in San Francisco anymore.
Oh, Cow Palace. Wrestling fans, we know all about the Cow Palace.
Right. Okay, so I opened there for, I was the first opening act there. I have some pictures somewhere. Well, okay, I'll show you. Really fast. Show and tell. I can do it. Okay, check it out. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was this picture down here. I know the ring light's kind of glaring. We had kind of a little bit of reunion. I didn't get to sing or anything, but we all got together at the Canyon Club. This is a lot of the band members originally from the Tane Cain and Triangles. See that?
Oh.
You guys see any of that?
Yeah.
The ring light's actually putting like a perfect circle around the picture you're showing. So
That was from, I believe that's from the Cow Palace, or the center one was. Maybe this one was. I don't remember. This one. Maybe that one. Can you see? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So I got a little show and tell. No, I love that. That was incredible. I remember going out into, I know a lot of musicians have performed in front of 20,000 people, but I had not at that time. And I all of a sudden I go out and I'm like, it's like a sea. A sea of lights and blurry people. I mean, it was really incredible. I really enjoyed it. I was a little scared at first, but then I got in my mojo. No, I really enjoyed that quite a bit. I also opened for, they call, boy, this is really making me feel old, but you'll know who they are. You'll know who they are. Jefferson Starship.
Oh, I know Jefferson
Great flick.
Yes.
Great flick. In Las Vegas, and I can't remember the venue to be honest with you. See, because it's a rocker brain. Just kidding. I don't know. It's just been so long. And I remember it was really dry, and I went in and I said hi to Grace Slick and backstage and whatnot. And I said, I went up to her and I went, "Oh my God, I'm so glad to meet you. I can't even believe that. I've just known you since I was a little tiny kid."
Total starstruck moment, huh?
And she was like,
How are you?
Oh.
Yeah, no. So that's it.
And Tane, throughout your career, as we know, you've done a lot. We called you the Jill of all trades.
Jill of all trades. I need a plaque. Whenever I get insecure, I'm gonna go Jill of all trades.
That's what we'll name this episode, the Jill of all trades. Is there, in your mind, what do you think? I know you enjoyed all of it probably equally, but is there anything in your career, the acting, the modeling, the music, that you think you had the most fun with or you enjoyed yourself the most doing?
Wow. That one is such a tough question, because while you were asking it, my brain just went over, I almost can't answer it. And that's maybe a good thing, because I can honestly think of in each individual career, moments that were just so magical. And they didn't always have to be the best peak performance, you know. You guys, you'll remember Solid Gold. I was on Solid Gold, things like that. That was an incredible moment. But the most touching moments to me were not necessarily the most star-studded. They were moments of revelation. They were moments of like, oh my God, I love that song. It feels so good. You know, if it was a great song that I wrote, a great horse that I ride, a beautiful moment that I'm directing. I know it sounds corny, but I really mean it. I'm directing somebody and as a director now, and I'm like, and Rockstar, for example, that film, you can watch that also on my website. Right? Shameless plug. No, but when all of a sudden I could see that the actor's really connecting to what I'm saying. So each one of those particular moments were really special to me. I do miss singing because I don't sing as much anymore. So I'm kind of having fun with kind of like bringing that back. Yeah.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts of going on tour and singing again?
I don't think I'm going to do that because, again, I really do like the horse world as well. But, you know, it depends on, like, if I was going to take maybe a short break or something like that, I would. But, no, I'm going to do a little fun cameo in Jim Wynorski's film. He's doing as an actress. He just asked me to do it. It's called Bigfoot or Bust. It's a comedy. And I said, yeah, sure. Some little cameo, no big deal, but I'm going to have fun doing that. That's just like a day of work. So I guess I feel blessed that I can do all these different things when I feel like doing them, you know? I don't know.
For somebody who's done so many things in the entertainment industry and related, is there anything outside of that that you have never done that you would like to do?
I feel pretty blessed. There's one part of the entertainment industry that I've totally hit a home run on. I've definitely produced and directed quite a few shorts and done a really good job, and they won awards and blah, blah, blah. I really want to direct a feature film, and I have not directed a feature film. That's on my really big wish list.
On the bucket list. All right.
Yeah, and again, my buddy, director, producer Richard Gabai and I are working on a wonderful project called Rescue Me, and I've finished the film, the screenplay. It's really good. It got really good reviews, really good coverage, and we're just now trying to put funding together for that. And it's got a really lovely, diverse cast. So maybe next time we'll talk about some of the things.
Sounds good. Sounds like
that would be probably a whole nother conversation. Yeah, we are looking for investors for those films.
So anybody out there, if you want to invest or looking for investors for the film, real quick, I'm going to get into a couple of comments that the fans left. It sounds like, and it looks like it's in a different language, but someone I believe is coming in from Bogota, Colombia, that commented. And then Donna Purvis commented, Tawny, can't wait to meet you. Sitting in Hawaii on my vacation, but let's meet up in the new year and talk. Devucox? Am I saying that right?
Devuco. I don't know, I can't even, that's terrible. Those are saddles. I'm sponsored by Devuco Saddles. Saddle sponsorship. If that's who, yeah. And I'm looking forward to doing the show season, hopefully, with a couple of my clients' horses. I have a beautiful Frisian that I've shown. I went to the championships with a couple years back. Devuco makes a beautiful saddle, both for hunter jumpers and for dressage. Because I have if I would show and tell that. No, I love the saddle. I know I'm going to quickly do a shameless plug, but it's very high tech. It's not your average saddle. It's got carbon fiber on the inside. It's light. You know, like bicycles are really, really light. You could like literally pick up a saddle like this.
Oh, wow.
And yet it's got a flex tree, so it's really fabulous. I recommend it highly. But yeah. So.
And Tawny, we're starting to run short on time. You already put in one plug. Is there anything you want to plug? Where can everybody listening or watching at home find all the stuff, everything, Tawny?
Well, a lot of the stuff, again, is connected to my website, everything that I've produced and directed in the past or I'm developing. And that's McClureFilms.com, McClurefilms.com. One last plug, because I know a lot of my father's fans are going to really appreciate this. I have a script that's in development, and it's called Return to Shiloh. And it's a story about my father's character, Trampus, from the Virginia.
That's
so
good
I'm
stuff.
really looking forward to that. Hopefully I can produce that with Richard Gabby as well. So we're going to try to do a Western. So I have a lot of things in the works, and my horse fans and my, not horse fans, horse friends, I should say, and my clients, don't worry. I figured it out. I know how to multitask. and I'm Bill of all trades.
And for everybody listening and watching at home, we will be back next Saturday with former NFL star. He played for the Minnesota Vikings, Vincent Painter. We will be live with him on Facebook Live. And, of course, everybody can hear us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. Tawny, we really appreciate it. We thank you for taking the time out of your day
to
join us on the Happy Hour podcast. Make sure everybody goes over to teespring.com, buy some of our merchandise, and we will see everybody next week. For Matt, Mike, this is Ray. Peace. Thank you for joining us on the Happy Hour podcast.